Welcome to Courage Haven. It's time. Last video of my list. As I promised. Kind of a little nervous about this one. But it's all about telling our truths and not being afraid of how somebody feels or what somebody thinks. So, let's get into it. Shane Patrick Wright. I'm trying to heal through the process and get my traumas out of my head. These are what I gotta do. So that after all my stories, all my truths have been out, maybe then my mind can move forward and stop being stuck in the past. So, I've been procrastinating the hell out of this video. Okay. 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 So I dated this guy a little over a year, and we had a really, really good, like, I'm not even gonna read that off. I'm just gonna. I believe I was 14, and he was 15, and then, yeah. So, it was great. We always used to go to these car shows. I believe they were in Osteen, and, these old classic car shows, and they would have race cars and stuff like that. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car, and just, you know, a really good show. And we went to a few of those. And we always used to, like, hang out at his mom's and stepdad's apartment. And, sometimes I'd eat over. But, he was a really cool guy. He was pretty mellow, not quiet, but not like a big talker all the time. And, everything was pretty good. Apparently, like, when I wrote this down, my mind was in another place when I wrote it down, so that's why I said I'm just gonna do this. You could tell that he was ready for that phase in our relationship, but I wasn't. At this time, I was I don't know. There we go. So, and it was great. It was good. You know, our routine was we would sit on the edge of his bed and the door would be open and he would listen to country music because he was a hick. And we would just talk. It was normal, you know. But, and I remember this clear as day. And just so people know, sometimes when people are telling truths and they might laugh or cackle, that's nervousness. So I'm not making light of this at all. It's taken me a minute to even go through it, but I'm gonna kind of fast forward. There was incident where, like, there was an incident where he would do shady stuff, and hindsight, I should have been like, wait a minute, you're not just, you know, but I didn't. Call me dumb back in the day, or just whatever you want to say. But, uh, this day was different. And, this has been our, like, routine for, like, you know, a year, maybe a little under, maybe it wasn't quite a year, but it felt like it. And, I ate over, and I remember this like it was yesterday. I had ate over at his house. I don't remember every little detail, but that would make it an extremely long video, so that could be a good thing. Um, and we had spaghetti this night. And I remember because that night he had a bottle of hot sauce. You know, the one with the man and he's got the rope in his hand, the lasso. I don't remember the name of it. But Bob's or Bill something. Selma drank this whole entire bottle of hot sauce. And he's like, dare me. And his sister, I love his sister death. She was a doll baby. Um, I thought we got it on pretty good. She's like, I'm not gonna dare you. That's stupid. If you're gonna do it, you're just gonna do it. I'm not playing no part in this. She goes, because you know damn well you've done this before and you know that's gonna do to you. Same thing did last time. And, whatever. Oblivious to it. So, and he did. He drank. We were sitting at the dinner table or spaghetti, and he drank that whole bottle of hot sauce. There was maybe like that much left in the bottle. And after a couple minutes, sure enough, in the bathroom, with the Titanic coming out of his ass. And we were all laughing because he was yelling, "My ass is on fire! My ass is on fire!" It was so funny. But, so he had finished. He didn't finish eating. Basically, he ate some of it, but he didn't finish. After that, he was just like done. And so after I had finished and I had put my plate in the sink, I didn't know where he was. So I went out back. You know, out back of the apartments. You know, you got those AC units that sit on the ground. The fan trough up top. Well, I don't know. He was sitting on something. I think it was the AC unit, but he was kind of up a little higher, so I don't know. That was getting weird. He's like got a metal pipe and he's smoking, and you want some? And it's like, no, I'm good. I didn't actually. I don't think I started smoking at that time. I think I started smoking when I was like 16. Um, yeah, 16. I was like, no, I'm good. And I just stood there looking at him because I've never. This is probably the first time I've ever seen him do anything um related. So I was like, okay, that's different. So it had, I don't know what it was. I want to say it was green and it was laced with something. But it had like a powder smell every time he would like blow it out. It would have like a baby powder smell. As weird as that sounds. So I don't know what kind of would give that off when you. So they said they're waiting for him to be done. I went in the house. I went back into the apartment, and we went and sat in his room. Now he wasn't allowed to smoke cigarettes in his room. So, but and he normally usually didn't. He would go outside or go out back. But this day, it was nighttime. No, it wasn't. It was daytime because remember when I went outside, it was light out, so it was daytime. To say roughly, it was like I would have to like be like 4 or 5, 6 maybe, um, somewhere in there, as it was afternoon and we had just got done eating. We'd went in the room as usual. We sit on the edge of the bed. He plays his country music, and we just talk. And or he'll sing along with the music, and that's basically what we do. It's pretty boring, not boring to me, but like boring, like not uneventful, just chilling. So, except for this time was different. He locked his door with his cigarette in his mouth, and he put it out in the ashtray, and he turned his country music radio all the way up, and went like this really hard and shoved me back on his, bed. And he ripped off my jeans. And at this time, I'm kind of like going like this, laying on my back because I don't want to see what he's doing. I know what he's trying to do, but I don't want to see it. And of course, at this time, after a couple of seconds, I kind of just like, what are you doing? So I'm punching him in the face and in the chest, and I'm kicking him, like pulling my legs back and like kicking him. And he did not budge. Not one bit. Not even a hair. And mind you, he wasn't like a big person. He's probably 5'11, maybe 6. But he was only like maybe 135, 145 pounds. He was a very slender person. Not very muscular, and I don't mean that in a bad way, just not a lot of body mass, I guess. So, and I was doing that, and he put a pillow over my face. And he held down one hand and with the other. And in this time, I'm still kicking, and, look, if you've been through it, the stuff you do, I was doing it. I was doing it. I almost passed out because I couldn't breathe with the pillow on my face. But right before I passed out, he had finished and put his stuff back up, and he said, his jeans, he said, "Put your fucking pants on." And I didn't know what to say because I was humiliated. My innocence was stolen away from me because I wanted to wait to make sure that he was the one I wanted to give it to. And if not, I wanted it to be protected. I wouldn't want to just freely put it out there if that's not the person that I seen spending almost the majority of my life with. If not the whole. So I did, and I didn't say anything. I couldn't even look him in the face. I couldn't look at him. I looked at his wall. Well, I'm just, and he unlocked his door and turned his radio down, and I bolted. I fast walked out of his apartment, and I went to go walking down my sister's apartment. And, if that's not bad enough, he comes out, and there's two girls coming down the road on bicycles, and he stopped them. So I turn around, and I'm like, and he looked at them all calm and nonchalant. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. She's lying. That didn't happen. And they looked at me, like, and then kind of. So, they probably had a conversation about it after they got back to the house. I don't know if they went in and him or not, but bad juju. So after I had said that, I had turned around and I had bolted down the road because I didn't know if he was going to chase me or not. Especially calling him out like that in front of two girls. And I didn't know if anybody else was outside. I didn't look. I didn't care. And I ran down to my sister's apartment. And I'm wailing. I'm wailing. I'm just. And she picked up the phone and tried to call cops. And this is where my mom comes in. And I say, hey. And she hung up the phone from my sister's ear. We're not doing that. We're not calling the cops. She's been with him for almost a year, if not a year. It was bound to happen. She probably got scared and nervous after a minute, and then, said, she wasn't. Arnard. And I just looked at her and I didn't know what to say. Thinking in my head, I'm like, you're my mom. You should believe me. I'm your fucking kid. If I tell you something happened, it happened. Her and my mom got into a verbal argument, of course. Right then and there. And she's like, who are you to decide? It's her decision. That's how that went down. And then, it was the day before he had to move to Osteen with his dad. The day before, I believe it was the day before he was moving to Osteen with his dad. His real dad. And, he asked me if I would ride with him. his mom and his stepdad asked me if I would ride with him, drop him off. And I'm like, he's leaving. He's leaving. You're never gonna have to worry about him again. So just go and see him off. And that way you know that he's gone. So I did. And his dad was meeting him at a gas station. I think it was a 7-Eleven. Right there on the corner. Before you turn down that road. And he got out and he's like, I love you. I'll call you or text you. I'm thinking in my head, please don't. So he gets out and gets into his dad's truck, and that was that. And about a year later, I was 15. It comes like randomly. No warning, no call, no message, no nothing. Up in my mom's driveway in an apartment. We lived on India Palm, Florida Shores. And apparently he had a truck, and it had this big rebel flag in the back. Like, I was born tomboy, so hello, redneck, hey! But he was a hick or whatever, and he had the mud boggers on him, you know. But anyways, he had knocked on the door, and I opened it, and I was just like, so I went and told my mom. I was like, Shane's here. Oh my god, Shane's here. She's like, let him in. Like, after all of that, you didn't even think any of that through or nothing. You still solely don't believe me. And she's like, he can stay over. And I'm like, my heart dropped. And I was going to sleep on the couch, but he wanted me to sleep in my room with him. And I didn't have a bed at the time, I don't think. No, I didn't. I didn't have a bed at the time, I don't think. Even so, I would have been like, I'm not sleeping on my bed with you. Like, that would have been a no. But he's like, we can sleep on the floor. And he knew. He fucking knew, dude. Thinking like, oh, I was on this and I don't remember and stuff. This is what he told me like later on in life. He knew. Because one time, okay, let's pause for a second, recap on this. I went to his stepdad's shop, and his stepdad said, you need to call him, and you need to call him out on it. So I did. And when I called him on the phone, and he's like, I never did nothing to you. I never touched you. I never hurt you. So, basically, okay. So, back to the story. He knew. Because he's like, lay down on the floor with me. He's just lay here. And so, I didn't know what to say, so I laid down in front of him. And we were laying on our side, like, looking at each other. And I'm just kind of like, I don't want to be right here right now. I was terrified. And he looked at me, and he said, if I ever hurt you, I'm sorry. And I was trying to fight to keep my eyes open. And he's like, you can go to sleep. I will not touch you. I won't do nothing to you. And of course, I didn't believe him, but I just couldn't hold my eyes open any longer, so I fell asleep. And in the morning, I woke up, and his bitch ass was still sleeping. And I went and sat out on my front porch. And, he came out like 10 minutes later and sat down. It was like 7:30 in the morning, 8. And he prepared for this. This whole thing was planned the fuck out. Okay? Now take what I've already told you, and then take what I'm about to tell you. So he has a wad of cash wrapped up in a rolled up in a, rubber band. And he says, sitting in the chair across from me, I've saved up this money. He said like 3 years. He said it took me like, maybe it was a year. But he said, I saved up all this money, all my paychecks, and I put it all together to bring it to you. He goes like this. He says, I know you and your mom need it because you guys are struggling really bad. You don't even have no power. I was crying so bad inside because I wanted to take that money so bad. I really did, because we needed it so bad. At that time, I wanted to take it so bad. Like, I was crying inside. I was like, I want to take it. Because, oh my God, that would have helped us out so much. But my mind is like, if you take that money, what is he holding over you? He still has control over you if you take that money. And that's the trauma part of me. And I was like, I don't want your fucking money. And he takes it and throws $100 bill at me. And he says, here, you can go buy you some clothes or something. And he had a guilty conscience. And he says, he gets up to go over to his truck and he says, I'll always be here for you. Don't you ever forget that. And if you ever need anything at all, you look me up. I'll be there for you. He goes, I don't care what I got going on. He says, I'll be there. And I didn't say anything. I just looked at him. And I looked at the $100 bill sitting beside my chair on the ground. And he got in his truck and he left. And I picked it up. Yeah, I splurged with it and stuff because we weren't like that. We weren't set. We were bad. We had to beg neighbors for food and stuff when we were having hard times because, whatever. And, my Facebook had got hacked like a few years back. And, there was a thing where I guess like you can check back content wise or whatever or something. I don't know what it was or how this person knew certain things, but apparently, like, I don't know how it came about. I don't know. I think I'd called him one day to kind of confront him, and he's something about like, he's like, and you call me years later asking me for $5,000. And he's all like, I ain't fucking got it. This is when I called him. And he's like, I ain't fucking got it. And he goes, I replaced you. I've been done with you for years. And I'm married now with a wife and kids. And she's a lot fucking hotter than you. And she's better than you in every freaking way. And this is where my heart is. And I don't want you. I don't want nothing to do with you. And you're trash. And he said all this stuff. And of course they're hard because any girl don't like to be trashed on like that. Especially when you know it's not true what they're saying about you because you were like their ride or die. You were like the sweetest person in their life. And and yet now you're this big monster. And I was like, dude, I never called you and asked you for money. I would never call and ask you for money. That wasn't me. I have a little more self dignity than that. But I'm so glad this video is over. That's it. And nothing came of it because I didn't even know what running away was because my family growing up, they made sure I didn't know any outlets or have any outlets to reach out or do anything with it about anything. But that is my story. And thank God, I am so relieved that this video is over with. I had knots in my chest the whole time making it. Normally I would say I hope you liked the video, but I'm not gonna say that this time. I don't know what to say. I hope you. I don't know what to say to end this video. But there it is. That was hard. I have knots in my chest right now, but thank you for watching. I don't really know what to say when it comes to context like this. But have a much blessed day.